Yeah,
We're now
I think,
here, so
but we're on here now. That's what matters. That's what matters. That's the most
yes.
important thing. But yeah, thank you very much, Natty. Yeah, firstly, I just want to say a very big thank you for accommodating this, for wanting to share your story with our audience and your audience. I see people are commenting already and people are joining live. I think we've had conversations back to back. We've had emails exchange and all of that. Your story is one very incredible one that I'm really proud of. So, firstly, I just want to say well done on that, and you taking the bold step to one come share this, which is also very very great and very nice to see as well. And just before we jump in, just want to do a very quick introduction in terms of the immigrant story. I know you're familiar with what we do,
Yes.
but this is a platform where we collate immigrant success story as a pathway to help other immigrants thrive. We like to think of it or see it as the blueprint in a way, because people are immigrating to different countries every time, every day, and it's very important for people to see people who's been there, done that, and striving, and learn from those stories to actually make their own pathway easier for them. Hence the reason we started this the immigrant story. And just to talk about the growth we've had over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 600 followers on Instagram. We've had 3 brand collaboration. That's a testament to the great things we're doing on the platform. And you coming on is just to amplify that in the little way you can as well. So thank you very much for joining.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah,
much for having me.
yeah. I can see people joining in, and so just a brief or a quick introduction for Natty. So I don't know if you want to do your introduction, or you want me to do your introduction.
Um, I don't know. I think I can do it. That's fine.
All right.
But yeah, thank you everyone who's joining. I know we had some like tech difficulties, but my name is Natalie, or I go by Natty, and I'm the face behind the financial talk. And I created this community to build kind of like more confidence to with like immigrants and newcomers, Latino community, to talk more about finance, because I feel like we don't do that enough.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I work a 9 to 5 as a financial professional, and I'm currently studying to become a financial planner, because I think that's my path in life. So that's a little bit about me. And yeah, I like really resonate with your mission as well about sharing people's stories, because I feel we all have a different story, like different struggles and things like that. And we all just want to be the best version of ourselves. And we can only do that through educating ourselves and learning about others.
100%, 100%. And thank you so much for that introduction, Nati. I think finance is a very important discussion that people often shy away from, but hence it's very important in our day-to-day life. And having that understanding in terms of how you manage that as an immigrant in the country is very important. So once again, I want to say a very big thank you for coming to shed more light on that and also take us through your journey. I know you've actually done a brief of introduction in terms of what you do finance wise and all of that. So we're just quickly going to jump into a bit about your journey. I know time is a bit spent already on the technical difficulty things, but we just want to jump a bit into your journey. I understand you moved from Ecuador at the age of 18 to Canada to start your life and just make something out of it. So take us through that journey. How was it?
Yeah, I grew up in Ecuador. I During high school, I did not really see myself in Ecuador. I don't know why, but I kind of saw like the opportunities were not there. So from a young age, I started going to university fairs and things like that, and I wanted to move abroad. The intention was to move to France, but things did not work the way someone plans it sometimes. So I moved to Canada because I thought people here spoke French, but that's not the reality. So yeah, I just wanted to pursue my higher education, so my undergrad abroad. I ended up moving to Canada and just had to figure everything out from scratch. I think there obviously is the emotional part of moving to a different country. You are away from your family and all of that. But then as I was, growing older, I felt like it was very overwhelming not knowing how the system works
Hmm.
financially. I froze. Okay, because I think like anywhere you go, money is a language. Like you are going to need money everywhere, so it
100.
is very important to understand the foundation of your finances and the country's rules and all of this like little things that you can do. So during my experience as an immigrant, really I had to like navigate all of that on my own. And what helped me was that I am interested in that. Like that was my career. Like I came here to study business economics and I had like personal finance classes and all of that. But then when I would talk to others, they were like, how do you know this? So that's how like things started.
Yeah, great. Oh wow, that's really nice. I think majority of us always have like so like you said, France was your first option and not like Canada in a way. My first choice was like Canada basically, but I ended up in the UK.
Okay. You
So,
see, life doesn't go as planned.
but yeah, it's really interesting to just hear your journey and all of that. Basically, I think my question, like what I was just thinking in my head, my second question is going to be what literally drew you into that part. But in a way, I think you answered that in terms of your response, where you talked about okay, that is your line of study. And hence the reason you have this knowledge and interest about finance and all of that. But outside of the fact that okay, let's say if that wasn't really what you were studying, do you think you were still gonna, get interest into putting or wanting people to get that education about finance and how it operates as an immigrant living, outside of your home country?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely my major help. But if I came here to study something else, I feel I since I'm young, I've always had this entrepreneurial mindset. Always like try to do different things. I think sometimes that um it's not good because I get like interest in so many things and want to do so
Yeah.
many things that sometimes I don't finish things. So I deal with that. But I like kind of like learning about like different things and investing in like my education. So I think eventually if I did not study business economics, like I would have eventually learned about personal finance myself. Because as I said, like you need money anywhere you go. Like
Mhm.
if you move to like the UK, like you will need to understand how finance work there because I feel as an immigrant, you people who immigrate, they do it for a reason, right? Like some people are like trying to like escape something. If you are not that in that survival mode, maybe you're just moving because you want to outgrow yourself, and to do that, you have to like become a better version of yourself, and money is a tool that is going to help with that.
Yeah, 100%. Great, great. That's really great to hear. And now we've touched about your interest in that ties into, you studying something related to finance and developing an interest about that. But now let's look into what inspired you. So you started Financial Talk and helping Latino women to build wealth. So what actually led to where did that inspiration come from? What led to you putting that together? Because again, Latino as a way is, it's an immigrant community. So what actually led to that basically?
So coming here was not easy. I did not come from wealth. I was
Hmm.
raised by a single mom, and she had to make a lot of sacrifices for me to be here, like selling her favorite car. I
Oh
hope one
wow.
day I can buy it back. But I got in debt. I took a loan from the bank. I also got in debt with my credit cards just to pay my education, not because I'm a shopaholic or something like that. So while I was in that journey, that's how the page started. Like I just wanted to document myself paying off my debt. And while I was doing that, I started meeting people, and they were like, wow, like your journey is so interesting. And I had other people asking me, like, oh, like, how are you doing that? Like, how do you know this? So then the page became kind of something like where I'm teaching people about money, about personal finance. And at that time, I'm talking about like 5, 6 years ago, I did not even see that there was content for Canadians.
Mm,
Mainly, it was about like the states, and money is the same. Like the perception of money is the same in any country that you go, but different countries have different rules, right? So it was that, like, there was no content about Canada and things like that. And then I noticed that, some immigrants also have a language barrier because English might not be your first language.
mhm.
So I started kind of like mixing it up between English and Spanish. And I think my goal right now is just to support the Latino community even more, but also not leaving aside the newcomer community or immigrant community, because
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's my identity. Like, I'm a mix of both. So yeah, I'm just trying to find that sweet spot because it's really hard to do content for both communities.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. But in as much as whilst it can be difficult doing content for both communities, I feel finance is a generalistic language. So whilst you're, providing educative material for a community, it rubs on the immigrant community at large. So, but yeah, really, a really great job you're doing. Again, Natty, so well done. And I think that's gonna take us to the next question. So, on your journey and the process of doing all of this, providing financial literacy, educating the Latino community, and trying to extend that to the immigrant community at large, what is that one common mistake you think immigrants consistently or continue to make when, when it comes to finance?
Oh, that's a tough one because I feel I can count different ones. But I think one of the things, and it's just ingrained in us because it's a
Mm,
cultural thing, is that we don't talk about money, right?
mm,
We see it as a taboo. Like, we were taught that that's not something to do, that is not respectful, or it's not appropriate to be talking about it. And I'm not saying like, oh, just telling people like how much you make and things like that, but just like talk about your money struggles. Like, if you're in debt, like, just be like open up and say those things. Like, people like feel ashamed and things like that, but trust me, like, what you see on social media, like people traveling and like all this luxury life, like sometime that comes
yeah,
with like 100K to 100K in debt, right? So I think that's a mistake that people are making, just like maybe like not opening up, or maybe also like they're not safe spaces to do that. And that comes again, I think, tied in with what I just mentioned, is when you move to another country. And it happened to me. I came from like Ecuador to here, and here
mhm,
is all about like consumerism. Like, you need to have the newest phone and the newest laptop and the newest pair of AirPods. And then you, even if you did not come from that background of where you had like the newest thing every time, you come here and then you start hearing these things. So you think that's the norm, right? So
mhm,
you, just to maybe fit socially, you would end up doing this type of things and buying things that probably you don't even need, and
yeah,
then start getting in debt for, it's called like living, what's the name, like the Johnsons, the Jason, I cannot remember. um I think it's like keeping up with the Johnsons. I say like keeping up with the Kardashians kind of
yeah.
thing. So it's that. I think those are kind of like two common mistakes that I see a lot of immigrants making.
Mm, yeah, and I think it's very prominent in a credit economy in a way. I like to see places like the UK, the US, Canada as a credit economy, especially like the UK, Canada in a way. So people tend to like fall into the should I call it an illusion, because it's you're getting into more debt while trying to live that life you want,
Yeah.
but not realizing. So you just want to be, that's how the economy operates, so why should I live differently? But yeah, thank you very much. I think when we were having a conversation sometime last week, and I asked a question in terms of, with all this knowledge you have and everything, if you were to go back in time and why she came to like back to when when you came to Canada and all of that, what is that one money mistake you're going to avoid?
Um, mm, I forgot what I told you last time. But I again, like I think there's like so many things that I've done that probably have not been the best. But like I cannot blame myself because like I was just like new to the country and learning as well. Um, but I think one thing is probably not investing earlier. Um, however, like that had a reasoning. Um, because like as I said, like I was in debt and things like that, so like my priority was to do that first. But if I could go back in time and like I did not have that responsibility, that's definitely something that I would do, just like start investing a little bit earlier and just compound my money.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we were having I was in a social gathering sometime last week, and I raised the question, if you could go back in time, what would you change? And everyone was reacting and responding to the question. And I was like, if you're to go back in time with the knowledge you have now, so it was two
Yeah.
different two
That's the
different things. So
different things. Yeah.
you could go back in time with the same mentality and nothing is going to change, but go back in time with it. So yeah, really great to hear, really great to hear. And I think most times life is always like a learning process. Like we immigrants, when we come to a new country, we want to try to learn about the new things, the way of life, and finance and all of that. And most times we tend to make mistake in between. But over time, when we get that knowledge that's needed, we can easily gravitate towards the right choices and the right things. So whilst we've touched about the mistakes, or what's that one thing you could avoid, I think it's also going to be great to touch about the, what's it called? Is it the career moment, like the turning point when it comes to? So it's more like, how am I going to put this? It's more like, oh, I've been doing this and this is the outcome. So what's going to be like that one turning point you experience in your financial journey as an immigrant?
I think yeah, just going back to the investing side of things, like, I think a lot of people wait because they're scared, because they don't understand it, because they're in debt, like many different things. And everyone's situation is unique, definitely. But starting investing, like when I start earning like, let's say $14 an hour, $15 an hour, and you would say like, okay, like my salary is very little, like why
Yeah,
would I think about investing, like this is not for me. But I did it, like I started putting money in like a robo advisor because I had no idea how to investments work, and just put in like $25 every 2 weeks. And then once I switched jobs and they pay me a little bit more, I was like, okay, like now instead of putting 25, I'm gonna put 50, and
yeah,
so on. Like, and then when you start seeing like just leaving your money there, start seeing the growth, and then that's like amazing. I was like, oh, like I did not know it could work like this. Like, of course it's not growing from like, I don't know, like $100 to $1 million,
yeah.
but it's still something significant. Like I remember there was one year, I can't remember the exact year, but I believe it was 2021. But don't quote me on that. That I had seen my portfolio returns, it's like 35% in a year, and I was like, wow, like
Yeah,
like I did not expect this, and that helped me to achieve so many things that I wanted, like so many goals that I had like a
yeah,
little bit earlier, right? And then my mentality is that you pay yourself first. The more money I'm making as I'm growing in my career, I am not spending more, I'm not like altering my lifestyle, I'm just putting more into investments. So I think that's really important for like people to understand that you can start small and just keep your lifestyle. Like, don't inflate your lifestyle. Nobody's telling you that you should not, like, take care of
Yeah.
yourself. And if you like life, you only live it once. That's I 100% agree. You just have to keep that balance. Like, you can go and have that nice vacation that you've always dreamed of without breaking the bank.
Yeah, fantastic. I love the points you made in terms of starting small. That made me remember the year 2022 when I was going to get into investing, and someone said, you need to have £4,000 to start investing. So then again, this is the reason why platform like yours is very important. What you're doing is very important. Again, people do think you need £4,000, £5,000 to start investment. So I think why I spoke to that person at that time about it, that made me shy away for investment for another year, like a whole year before I started investing. So imagine everyone is being told you need £4,000 to start
Yeah.
investment. But a lot of people is going to shy away from investment. So you just making that point in terms of like starting small made me remember that, and made me, want to like give praise and accolade to your platform again, because you're doing something really good in terms of sensitizing people. Uh, but yeah, thank you very much, Nati. I think the next one is, so why people want to invest? Why immigrants want to invest? Why, Latino community want to invest? Why you want to invest? There is this element of risk that make people shy away from, investment as immigrants. So what are you gonna say is the biggest risk that you've taken, and what poses as risk to the immigrant community that make them shy away from it?
Oh, that's a good one, but I think it's again like very tied to culture.
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard my mom talking about investing or like saving or anything like that. My mom never told me anything about her money struggles. I knew
Hmm.
that she was struggling. Like, you can just put one and one together. But it was never something like you spoke about, again, as we mentioned earlier. So it is a cultural factor. So then if you move to another country, or like if you have heard all your life, like, just save your money, put it under the mattress, and you will be fine. Then if you like, yeah, like if you go to another country and like start hearing people saying like, go put your money in the market and like it's going to like double, you're like, okay, like, is this a casino or something like that? Like, there's that like cultural factor. So that's why like
Yeah.
people need to start educating themselves, because you will hear, you like, oh, I forgot that. Like, you'll hear bus. Like, you'll hear so many things. Like, invest in like crypto, or like your money will double tomorrow. Things like that. Like, I think that is one of the reasons why people are still a little bit scared of like investing or all of this concept, because it is new. Like, it is new to us. Like, I would say the this space
Hmm.
has not been available to us in a long period of time. Like, investing before was for people with money.
Yeah.
Like, you needed to have your own broker, pay them $1 million to start investing. But it's very recent. I think it's like probably less than 10 or 15 years
Hmm.
where regular people like you and me, or like the people watching, are able to access the market with very little money,
Hmm.
right? So there's still a big education component that people need to go through in order to break that myth, or to not be as scared of starting investing. So I think that is one of the reasons why maybe the Latino community or newcomers do not invest as like maybe other communities that have had that exposure for longer.
Yeah. Perfect. Great. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Just banking on the point that educating yourself. I think I had someone who you're familiar with, who be on the platform some time ago, and I think that was one thing she did emphasize on as well. In as much as you want to get into investments, you want to get into building portfolios and accumulating wealth over time, having that financial education is very important. So I think in the process of doing that, you can ascertain or assess your risk appetite. If you
Yes.
think you can invest in crypto and handle the risk that comes with that, do it. If you think
Yeah.
you want to stick to stock, do it, basically. So yeah, thank you so much
And
for
and I
sharing.
and I do think that as well, like, we all again come from different backgrounds, different beliefs,
Yeah.
different we were raised different ways. I listen to a lot of psychology podcasts, so I'm putting like a lot of like psychology like into these questions. But I do truly believe that money is not numbers. Like
Mm,
money is your beliefs. Money is like it is very connected to how you were raised and what you heard while growing up. And it's part of like talking yourself out of that maybe fear, things like that. And also thinking like, what is it that is going to make you happy? Like, what is it that you want to achieve with your money? Because what I want out of life is not the same of what you want out of life. And money is just going to be this tool that is going to help both of us to achieve what we want. So that connects to like, okay, what are your goals? Like, and then what is the amount of risk that you want to take, right? And then you have to tie it in like your maybe like struggles that you have, or
mhm,
like maybe the responsibilities that you have that maybe I don't. So it is definitely different. And all of this you'll understand it by like educating yourself, but also getting to know about yourself, by getting to know your patterns. Like, oh, when I'm stressed I go on a shopping spree, like, or oh, when I'm stressed I just like order Uber Eats, or like,
yeah.
so like you start also have to like know yourself, to see your patterns, to see like, okay, what are the things that you need to fix. So that's why I say like money, it's a lot about like emotions,
Mm,
not only like the numbers itself.
mm. That's really good. So it's a self financial awareness thing because um, most times that they'll be like, how well do you know yourself? How self aware are you? So just tying it to finance is a self financial awareness kind of thing. So whilst you're educating yourself financially, it's very important
Yeah.
you have that self awareness as well. So you know what you can take money wise, how your behavioral patterns
Yeah.
yeah, behavioral patterns alongside money. But yeah, I think that's a very good one because it ties into the next question in a way which is centered around money behaviors and mindsets basically. So it's more like what are like the first money habits you recommend to any immigrant who's starting afresh in a new country.
I'd say pay yourself first. I know a lot of people preach the same thing, but it is really important. As soon as you get money, like, don't think about all of the different things that you can do with it, but just start like by paying yourself first. I mean, save some money for your future self,
Mm-hmm.
or invest that money, right? I know that a lot of immigrants also struggle with, you came to a different country, and like maybe the expectations for your family is to help them financially, and it's something that I have to do, or I had to do. Like, I don't know if you went through the same thing, but sometimes we also feel this pressure from like family members. It's like, oh well, you are abroad, so like things are easier for you and things like that. And no, like money doesn't grow in trees anywhere in the world. Like,
Mm-hmm.
tell me the country where money grows in trees
I'll
and I'll
find
go
them.
there. um but it's about that. It's like, it's hard, but you do need to learn to like put boundaries
Yeah.
and really understand how much you can help others, before like helping yourself, right? Like, I think we do need to put ourselves first, and it comes to this mentality of like paying off yourself first.
Mm. I like the paying yourself first and you going further to explain what paying yourself means because most people might think pay yourself to go enjoy yourself.
No. Like, yes, pamper yourself as well. Like, you are entitled to that, but um that's why I said like pay yourself first by keeping in mind that you're saving for your future self. Like, your future self also needs, that stability, financial
Yeah.
stability. you came to another country for a reason to, as I said, outgrow yourself, have better opportunities and things like that. And you deserve financial stability. Like I don't think anyone moved from whatever country you come from to come to another country to have a worse life that you had before.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah, that makes so much sense. When you were talking about expectations from back home, so people are always with this mentality: if you're abroad, you're living the life of your dream, of which most cases it's not always like that because it takes time, it takes effort, it takes discipline to get to that life of your dream. So most times there's so much expectation. For we call it black task. So
okay.
when people back home ask you for too much money, not like you're not supposed to give, but just setting that boundaries is going to help as well. But yeah, thank you for sharing. I think that the next question is basically going to be no, we talked about just circling back. We talked about risks that comes with investment and all of that. So what when it comes to savings and when it comes to investing, how do you decide where to focus on as an immigrant?
Um, so I think that's like really important to make distinction. As we have been saying, like everyone's situation is really different. In
Hmm.
my case, I started saving while paying off debt. I wanted to feel some sort of stability, and I knew that that can only be achieved by reducing the amount of debt that I had. So, in this case, paying off my student loans as soon as I could while building that cushion. So, like that um, emergency fund, like if something bad were to happen, like for example, like let's talk about like losing your job or like COVID, like knowing that at least you can survive for a couple of months. So that is like the saving aspect of things. And then once your bases are covered, then you start investing. So I like to put it as, saving is the foundation of your house. And then once you have that solid foundation, you start putting the walls of your house, right? Because if you don't have that, then your house is gonna fall apart. So if you have that emergency fund, if even if you had that, because I was investing while having that, you can also invest. It depends on the interest rate of your debt. If the interest rate of your debt is smaller, I would say like less than 4 or 5%, then you can try to manage both. But again, it will really depend on your situation. Like I don't know everything behind, like everyone who's connected here, like the things
Yeah.
that the responsibilities that they have. But if it kind of like that's a rule, then you can start investing. Reason why is, in average, the stock market has returned approximately 7 to 8% in the past like 50 years, right? So if you do that math, then you're like, okay, if you're investing, you're a little bit better off than only paying off your debt that is only costing you like 4%. So it just really depends. I don't know if I answered the question, but it will just really depend on your situation.
Yeah, yeah, I think you did because, like you said, it depends on your financial situation,
Yeah.
and I love the analogy you gave in terms of savings being your foundation. You have that base to an extent. There's an extent or an amount of stability before you start venturing into savings, sorry, into investment. Because then again, investment is a risk. So
Yeah.
the stock market can just crash off tomorrow, and it happens sometime. Well, I'm actually forgetting the term. It happened some time back when the stock market crashed and people lost quite a lot of things. So again, it's a risk you're venturing
Yeah.
into. Again, like you said, it depends on an individual
Yeah.
how
Like
foundation wise saving
yeah,
should.
like
Okay.
for example, like I'm gonna talk about my personal situation at the moment. Like I have a mortgage and the rate is 4%, right?
Yeah.
But just because I have this debt, which is a huge liability that I have, I'm not stopping investing, right? So, and if I get additional funds, like I will plan some sort of a strategy where I'm like, okay, I'm going to allocate a little bit to the mortgage, but the other portion I want to invest it, because I know that my funds, like my money, will grow at a greater rate than
Mm-hmm.
4%,
Yeah.
right? But when I had credit card debt and I was paying a rate of like 19%, 21% in credit card. Like it did not make sense to invest because you have a guarantee return when you're paying off your debt. Like if you pay off your debt, it's like you get in 21% in return, right? So
Yeah.
that's where people have to like analyze their own personal situation and decide if they want to do both, if they want to focus on one, and so on.
Yeah. Great. I really hope like we had quite a lot of people joining this, but then again, I think this is gonna be saved, so it can get uploaded on the page and people can rewatch because it's really
Yes.
enlightening to see. Because then again, it's gonna surprise you how people don't have this knowledge, this financial knowledge, and you know things like this are more like opportunities for people to get sensitized in that aspect. So, but yeah, thank you. I want to circle back a bit. So what is that? I don't know if I've asked this question before, but what is that huge financial mistake you've made? And it could be even once you have this whole financial knowledge, or even before the having the whole financial knowledge thing. But what's that huge financial mistake you've made that but then you realize over time that this was a financial mistake and it's something you're gonna avoid in the future or someone who's watching now could avoid possibly now or later in the
Oh,
future.
you're putting me on the spot. um, I always remember this when I was little. Like, I think I was, I don't know, like 15, 16, and my mom gave me a credit card. And again, like, my mom never talked to me about money, but one day
Yeah.
she came out of the blue, like, this is your credit card, and it's only for kind of like whatever like you need that is essential. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, yeah, this is like for things that you need and like emergencies and things like that. And I was like, okay. So I remember like vividly, first
Yeah.
thing I did was go to Forever 21 because I needed clothes. And then I left the store. I was with a friend and I'm like, oh yeah, like I can pay with this credit card. Like, and then I went, like, my mom picked me up, and then she's like, "What have you done?" And like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, "Okay, like you gave me this card, and you told me that it's for things that I need, so like I needed to like go shop." And then she's like, "Okay, like how are you gonna pay for it?" And then I'm like, "What do you mean? I pay with a card?" And she's like, "Yeah, but it doesn't work like that." I'm like, "Well, you've never like kind of like told me how it
Yeah.
works, so how am I supposed to know?" So I always remember that. It's like kind of funny, but I think it's like something like I was like very naive and I did not know how things work. So that's like something being, I guess like still like a teenager, like,
Mhm.
like you're not thinking about responsibilities and things like that or bills. Like I think a mistake in adult life actually was like coming to Canada. I did not understand the concept of overdraft. So I remember one time I think I paid something with like my check-in
Yeah.
account, and I remember like I was paying for this like overdraft thing. So I just went and like went over the limit and then they charged me a fee and it was like a hefty fee. It was like $50. And I'm like, okay, you're making me pay like every month for a
Yeah.
certain amount of money to have access to this. And now you go and like charge me a fee. Like why?
Hmm.
And then they like explained to me and I'm like, oh, I think this was like the first or second year here. So yeah, I think like, it's like comes since like you will now think like, okay, like you should know that. But no, like people don't know. Like people don't go and like read the fine print of
Yeah.
things. Like I think I do sometimes now, but not everyone does that, and that's okay. But like, you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. It's really great to hear because just going back to credit card, it's more like a free money. No, it's not free because you
Yeah,
you can get access to that money anytime you need it. But then again, it's putting you into so much debt that comes with interest over time that you never know from the onset. So most times I
yeah,
would be like, Oh my God, I have this at my liberty. Should I use it or should I not use it? But not again. It's not like credit cards is bad. It's how you use it
Yeah, like
and how you manage it, basically.
exactly. Like if
Yeah.
you are using it, getting your points, like getting your cash back, like using it smartly to benefit you, it's great.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of people use it as, their safety net, which is where people like things can get a little bit, like more complex because then you start getting in debt and it just like a snowball effect. And but that comes with education, right? Like
Yeah.
not everyone understand how things work, and you should not expect for like everyone to know all of these things, like probably you and I don't know how medicine works, and probably doctors see us as like, how do you not know this? But like
Yeah.
we are not supposed to know everything. And I think society still needs to make a better job at educating us, about like finance, also about like as like health and things like that, because these are things that everyone struggle with. Like it doesn't matter where you're from, where you live, like you do need to understand how your money works.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. I think over time, from your knowledge of money, the community you've built, and how you continuously try to educate people about finance, I suppose there's this money confidence you've built over time as well. So, what is that one simple tip you give to people that also place them in that same position to become money confident?
I am a huge believer that you need to know where your money goes. It
Mm,
doesn't matter how much you make.
yeah.
You need to know your patterns. You need to know what you're spending on. You need to know yourself. And it's tedious. Like I don't think everyone needs to know, I'm spending like $50 on coffee or whatever. But you do need to know that. Like I part of my work, like 9 to 5, is I work as a financial professional, and I see two different type of clients. So I work with wealthy individuals. So we're talking about people who have millions and millions of dollars. But you have the wealthy individual that knows exactly what they spend. Like sometimes they send me these spreadsheets that I'm like,
Whoa.
wow. Like wow,
Yeah.
like I did not expect you to know. And you see every single detail. And then you have the other wealthy individual that they just ballpark a figure. They're just like, oh yeah, I think I spend, I don't know, 500K a year, right? But then when we do, because as part of my work, we do financial planning,
Yeah.
you do see that maybe they do not spend that. And you have these wealth individuals that if they don't change their spending patterns, we're talking about like people with millions of dollars, right? Like that the thing here is not, increasing their income. The main um kind of like pain point that we tell them is like, you need to start spending less, because in 10 years you're going to be broke,
Mm,
right? So and that applies to like us as well. Like okay, we're not like, we don't have those $1 million yet, hopefully one day. But if you do not know how to manage $1,000,
yeah.
trust me, you will not know how to manage $1 million. So you do need to understand where you're spending your money on,
Mm,
and not increasing, you not inflating your lifestyle as you make more money. Try to use that additional capital to maybe invest, or to maybe like start a business or things like that. So that's my advice for people watching. Just like understand your numbers, and then try to get that surplus, if you're like making more money, to multiply your money.
great. When you said if you cannot manage $1,000, there's no way you can manage 1 million when you get there. It just reminded me of a quote. So I'm a Christian. It reminded me of a place in the Bible that said, "If you are faithful in little, you'll be faithful in more." So if you cannot manage little, you cannot manage more. So this goes back to you talking about knowing where your money goes. I've got like an Excel spreadsheet where I document everything. It's tedious, it's difficult, it's tiring. where I document my expenditures. So I think 2 months ago, I discovered that I spent almost £200 for Uber. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, with
It adds up.
I was like, so the next month, I obviously started jumping into train, all of that. So in a way, just knowing where your money goes gives you the opportunity to reduce the expenses that goes into that category of your
Yeah.
spending, helping you save more to channel into other place of your expenditures, be it savings or whatsoever. So yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think we're going to circle back into your community you've built over time. So it's always great to see the outcome of what you're doing right now. So my question is going to be, you're doing all of this financial sensitization, you're building a community. So the question is going to be, you have so many people in your community. What's like your favorite part of teaching about money?
I think one of my like the favorite things is when I get people tell me like, thank you so much, you make this very easy to understand. Like, you made like the complex topic into simple. Like, I try to use analogies, like things like that. um and it's just that, like, just hearing that, like, oh, you make this so much easier, it's really rewarding. It's nice. Or even sometimes I get messages like, oh, thank you for sharing that, it helped me understand something, or I did not see it that way, or you just inspire me to save a little bit more, like to put this as a new goal, or like kind of like I have you as an example to like do something. And I'm just like, yeah, like I don't think I'm an example to anyone. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, like I just don't see myself as that, but just hearing it makes me see myself as that. I do struggle a lot with that type of thing when I'm trying to work on it. Um but that's, I think that that's really rewarding. And sometimes people like not finance related, but they tell me that I should be a teacher. Like
Yeah.
at work, a lot of people
Yeah.
told me like, you should be a teacher. And I remember university people will tell me that as well, like, wow, like like you explain this microeconomics class like way better than the professor, like you should be a teacher. And I'm just like, okay guys, like I don't, I'm
Okay.
like, I'm just explaining this to you because by
Yeah.
explaining I learn it.
Yeah.
Like I make sure that I'm learning it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that that's one of the best things about like this platform and the people that I'm meeting, when I get to hear these kind of things.
That's fantastic. And you remember when we had a call some time back? I said we're going to have a one-to-one session, and you're gonna take me through my own financial literacy
Yeah.
classes. So, so yeah, also looking forward to that. But yeah, again, it just reminds me of how people get to me, like when people come around to say, can you connect me with that person you had on your platform? I think the person said something that really resonated with me. So it's really great to see that the little things that it's been done. To be honest, we don't really need like hundreds of people saying, oh, what you're doing is really great. If it's just one person that
Yeah,
it's coming back in terms of the imports you're making, it's phenomenal. So thank you for doing this, basically, Nati. And I believe, quite a lot of people, like you said, it's evident. People say thank you. People even wanting you to be a teacher. So,
maybe
so,
I should be a teacher.
so great. We've been talking for over 40 minutes. Do you realize that?
It doesn't feel like it, but I don't know if like people who are watching want to like ask something or say something. I know there's some like smile faces. Maria said, amen, look 1610. I was thinking same thing. Thank you. A financial teacher. Thanks, Maria.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. If you've got any question for Nati, I think it's we can also utilize the platform to take up those questions, and she can also share her experience and expertise on that aspect as well. So feel free to drop in your questions or
For
pop in
sure.
anything into the chat. So yeah, I think the next question is going to be, um, I think we're actually gravitating towards the close of this in a way, given the fact that we've spent over 40 minutes already.
Yes.
But it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like that. So in your experience of, educating, and I know in a way you've responded to this, you've answered this already, but in your experience of educating people about, finance, educating community, educating women and all of that, what is that one thing you wish they knew on time? I know you've answered this from a personal perspective, like from your lived
Mhm.
experience, but then again, this is quite different based on the fact that you've taught and observed people, and from the course of your conversation, you can in a way say, "Oh, how I wish this person knew this on time." So from that conversation, you're teaching, sensitization and all of that when it comes to finance. What is that thing you wish, the Latino community, women, the immigrant community at large, have an understanding or knew um, before coming into the country?
Oh, you're asking these very tough questions. So, um, okay, I'm also very I can be very political, so I don't want to get too much into that. But I think it's like before moving to a country, there's so many things that you can do. Like you can study, the country back and forth and read all of these things, but
Yeah.
your experience is just going to be way different than anybody else. And you have the power to own your own experience.
Mm,
Um, so it's that, like it's just like knowing that you will have to work hard to build community, work hard to like achieve your goals and things like that. But also don't feel that you are in the journey alone. um and there's gonna be, balls thrown at you, and this can come from like government and things like that, where you won't have control of certain things. um but again, like you own your own experience. Like yesterday I was actually I actually hosted a party for my building, because I was like, I've moved into this building 6 months. Like I know nobody. Like I've gotten to know people just because I have a dog and I walk the dog and like I say
yeah.
hi. And then I was just like, okay, like I'm going to find the property manager, and I want to like do an event to know the people in my building, because there's
Mm,
so many things happening in this building, and like I
yeah.
don't know anyone. And I do feel that when people are connected, change can happen. So that happened yesterday. So I think it's you can relate it to that. Like you're not alone in the journey. Just like build your own community, and things will get easier.
I think
Does that
I'm going.
answer the question?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. It does in a way, and I love the fact that you know you you in a way tie that into hosting a party for the building you're in on the basis of knowing those people, and also to come to a consensus that you're not alone in this, and tying that into the the immigrant space, like you're not alone in this. I think I'm gonna basically see that. I've been living in this property for 2 years, and I don't know my neighbors that much.
Yeah, exactly. And
So
and it's just like tough. Like you can plan your whole, as immigrating. You're like, okay, like in 3 years I'm gonna be, in this case, like Canada PR, and then like in after that I'll be a citizen. But you there's in this case of a country, like there's a higher power there. So in this case, like government and politicians and things like that, they just like change rules all the time. And this is where I don't
mhm.
want to get political, but you don't have control over those things. And you just have to, I guess, just work with the things that you have control of. So you have control of yourself, of like the effort that you put, of like the education that you get, and the community that you build.
Perfect. That's great. And then again, I think the need for community cannot be really overemphasized. It's really needed for the immigrant space, to be honest, because then again, it's going to be difficult for you to want to go through the whole, immigration journey yourself as an individual.
Yeah.
Why wise people do it, again, it depends on you as an individual. Why wise people do it, it takes me back to this quote that say, if you go alone you go fast, if you go in group you go far. So there's a difference between going fast and going far.
Yeah,
So
I love
basically,
that.
so yeah, that makes so much sense. Yeah, thank you so much, Nat, for sharing. You're dropping so many nuggets tonight. But yeah, I think we're just gonna, once we're wrapping up, I want to touch on, some resources and some materials you're leveraging when it comes to, educating yourself financially. So one of my questions in respect to that aspect is going to be, um, what are like your favorite money podcasts and books that you read and you would want to recommend as well?
So as we have been, talking here, I do think that money is more feelings and emotions than numbers. So one of my favorite books is The Psychology of Money.
Mm,
That's by Morgan Housel, I think. So definitely recommend that for everyone to read. And another good book that has been around for a long time, it just gets like new editions, but I think it's as old as my grandma, is The Richest Man in Babylon. And I do agree with some of like the main lessons that it gives, like even in this changing economy and world, and things getting more expensive and inflation and all of that, the foundation of this book, I truly believe, it still applies. So definitely those will be my top two books for people here watching. And in terms of podcasts, I don't listen to a lot of financial podcasts, to be honest. I like more of the psychology ones. But there is this good podcast that I enjoy. It's more investing related. It's called The Best One Yet,
mm,
and it's hosted by Nick and Jack, and they're very fun. Like I love just the way that they explain things by making jokes. It just it's just like nice to hear it, because even though I'm not, investing as like checking my investments every single day and things like that. I'm more of like a buy and hold and like forget about it. It's just nice to still be like up to date on what's happening in the market. I think it's like a nice way to do that. So he talks about like the market and politics and things like that. Sorry, they talk about that because it's two guys. So those are my recommendations.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think me personally, I've read The Richest Man in Babylon. I've read The Psychology of Money as well. So maybe I'm going to check out the podcast you just recommend. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Good.
Um, so I think it's going to be nice for me to ask this question. So the question is going to be, what is that one money goal you've already ticked off? Because you're talking about money, 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 money. It's going to be great for me to hear my teacher, something my teachers, something my teachers accomplished over time that would want to like give me the nudge and the confidence, or be like my confidence booster to want to jump into all of this. So what is that one money goal you've basically taken? You can decide not to answer. It can be really
One money goal
yeah,
that I have achieved.
yeah.
Um,
So you can tie it
I,
to your savings, investment, all of that kind of a thing. Just, being an immigrant and striving when it comes to, finance in a way.
yeah, I think I'm a person that believes in um like manifesting in something that, since I think the past 5 years, like I'm the kind of person, like, a new year is coming. I'm already thinking like what I want to achieve in the new year. And this thing that I've been writing for the past 5 years is to buy property. So
Mm,
that is the goal that I achieved. Like I bought investment property back home last year, and this year I bought my principal residence in Canada. I like to call it my shoe box because it's very tiny, but it's mine. And yeah, and like to be honest, I thought that that was something impossible, especially with the economy in the past couple of years, and it was just so funny looking back. How TikTok sometimes shows you, your TikTok like 3 years ago, and I
Yeah.
saw this one where it was like, I'm never going to be able to afford a home. I had that, and then just like looking now, it's like, wow, like how can time and things like change so quickly?
Yeah.
So yeah, really really proud of that. It's not easy, but I think again, anything that you set your mind into, you can achieve it. It takes discipline and time and patience, and I have to repeat that to myself when it comes to my financial page, because I'm always like on and off because
Yeah.
life gets on the way. But yeah, I think everything in life takes that.
Great. Thank you so much. It's very important for people to also understand that it's a gradual process. It takes time. So hence
Yeah.
it's very, very important that you continue to pat yourself in the back and remind yourself of your long-term goal, and just incorporate that discipline into your daily expenses and expenditures. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So I did mention in terms of me having a spreadsheet that I normally utilize in accounting for my finance, but these days all things are becoming automated, simplified, and
Yes.
tools and all of those are coming into play. So what's that? If you use anyone, or if you don't, or maybe you've seen an ad or something that you're like, oh, I think it's gonna make sense. Not like we're trying to promote any brand or anything on here, but what's that one financial tool you can recommend for the audience or anyone who's watch this on demand or later on, for them to incorporate into their day-to-day
I
financial.
would need some help from the people watching here and recommend a really good budgeting app. There was a really good one that I used long time ago, and it helped me throughout my journey with like paying off debt, and like I see my net worth like minus 40, and then like zero, and like it was very visual, very nice. It was called Mint, and then it just disappeared. And since then I've been trying to find an app that does the same thing, that is for free. I know
Yeah,
that there are like apps that you need a budget, and pocket guard and things like that, but you do have to pay for them,
yeah,
which I feel like people who are just starting to like, I guess, trying to like build their wealth and things like that, maybe you don't want to have one more subscription to pay to. So I haven't found a good budgeting app yet.
yeah,
So I still do like Excel spreadsheets like you.
yeah,
But it will be really nice to find one that it's like accessible, maybe for free. Maybe you do have to pay for like premium features.
yeah.
But yeah, that's my homework. I have to find a good one. I've been testing different ones, so we'll see.
Great, great, perfect. I think that actually brings us to like the close of this in a way, and I think it's about 58 minutes that's been spent so far. I know we had
Yeah.
about 20, 18 minutes for the whole technical thing, uh,
Yes,
but
that's
yeah,
okay.
but yeah, that's fine. But I don't know if you've got like anything outside of everything we've spoken about, to just want to share with the audience.
Yeah, just because we are kind of putting it through the immigrant lens, right? Something that I have been saying in my, not the Instagram videos, but the TikTok videos is, um it's in Spanish, but I'll like translate it, is you did not move from like, what's like, you did not move another like another to another country to have a ordinary life, but an extraordinary life.
Mm,
So it is about that. Like it takes time, it takes discipline. Like there'll be many ups and downs. We all have them, but I guess like never forget the reason why you left, and never forget like your roots and that, because that's beautiful and special, and it makes you you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think most times I do always tell people that if you're moving into a new country, wherever you're moving into, whoever you're seeing there, meeting there is more like 100 step ahead of you already. So leveraging community, leverage on, you know, events like this leverage on people who's been there, done that, so you can easily climb the step to meet up with those individuals. Again, it's not a competition. Don't You're not competing
Hmm.
with anybody. You're competing with yourself, just being the best version of who you were yesterday, just like that on a consistent basis. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. If you're on here and you're not following Nati, I think most people on here are your audience, to be honest.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. But yeah, so everyone is obviously following you. But again, I just want to say thank you for making our time for this. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for, putting out your knowledge, your expertise out there. And like I said, over time, I believe people get to watch this. If not now, later on. It's past 5, almost to 6 over here. So, but yeah, thank you so much for sharing once again.
Yeah, thank you as well for your platform. I love that you're sharing the stories of different people because you get to see like everyone journey is completely different, and you can get inspired by maybe like someone that you resonate really, or you like feel closer to. So thank you as well, Tamil, for all the work that you're doing. And yeah, thank you for everyone who gave us a little bit of their time and watch us speak here. And happy holidays.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, a big shout out to everyone who's, watched, commented, say something or the other. Thank you for making our time to be here. But yeah, happy holidays as well. Hope you have a good Christmas. A lot of
Thank you.
turkey, meat, chicken, drinks.
I will definitely gain like 5 pounds after the holidays. So
It's for a good cause, boy.
yeah.
It is. All right, that you have
Okay.
enjoy the rest of your day. And
You
bye,
too. Good
everyone.
night for you. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
bye. Bye.
Bye everyone.
Yeah.